welcome back to Hanna Worldwide and Friends, the podcast about living abroad. Thank you so much for listening, and thanks to everyone who has been on the show already, who makes it possible to have these meaningful conversations. Also feel free to share it with your friends and family and make it even a better thing. Feel free to follow me on Instagram under Hanna Worldwide and Friends, or find myself on Spotify, Deezer, iHeartRadio and many more directories. Hi everyone! I wanted to make a little episode about the beautiful Cook Islands. It is a nice island group close to New Zealand, and the biggest island of them is Rarotonga. My partner and I went in February to Rarotonga as a little holiday, and the feeling it left in me when I came back was amazing, and I wanted to really share that with you. And who knows, maybe after this episode, one of you guys might decide to also want to go there as the next holiday destination. First of all, when we arrived, the temperature was just amazing. It was really warm, it was a little humid, but it wasn't as burning as the New Zealand sun, for example. The ozone hole is really big above New Zealand. Therefore, it wasn't feeling as bad in Rarotonga, and it was just, for me personally, the perfect temperature. I could lay on the beach. I felt never too hot, but I think that's more personal because my partner, for him, it was definitely too hot. So it depends on if you like it more on the warmer side or if you are more comfortable with the cold. And the language they are speaking there is English and Cook Island Maori, or also called Rarotongan. The traffic there is very interesting. You can decide either to hire a car or you also can hire a scooter. For the scooter, you need to have like a little driving test. Therefore, you have to put a little bit more effort into actually going to the place so that you can get your driving license. But renting a car is usually no problem at all, as long as you have like a acceptable driving license. In that case, it was for us better to have the car because also having aircon can really make the difference on a holiday. And I'm pretty sure for my partner that was necessary. Otherwise, the speed limit over there is 50 km per hour, so it's relatively slow. And the main street is kind of like a big roundabout. And there are not many traffic lights either. It was very interesting because you can tell that the island is not very big, but you really feel it when you are able to surround the island with the car within 30 to 40 minutes. Money-wise, you can pay with New Zealand dollar, but also just with a credit card, so it doesn't really matter where you come from. As long as you have a credit card, you should be fine. When it comes to food or water, we have noticed that water is relatively pricey, but the food was really reasonable, at least the food we had in our resort. Ice cream was actually really cheap and super delicious. Also, a fun fact when it comes to the Cook Islands, I've heard, was that people really take KFC from the airport with them in a bucket over to the Cook Islands because the Cook Islands don't have KFC. And I have learned here around the area that KFC is really a highlight and that everyone is kind of keen to bring it over, even for family or friends. As mentioned before, we went in February, and February seemed to be not the busy season. Therefore, we had a really good time where not too many people were there, and it wasn't as crowded as it can get when you go on a holiday. The beaches sometimes were even almost empty, dependent on where you were. And it was really nice to not have two crowded groups when you actually participated in an event or in a tour. About the accommodation, we stayed at Castaway Resort Rarotonga, Cook Islands, and we absolutely loved it. But even talking to the people we have met on our tours, it didn't really matter where they were. They were all pretty happy with their accommodations. And we have met a couple which were staying at an Airbnb, and they were really happy. They loved that personal note, and they really liked that they had the connection to their host as well. Otherwise, other people on other resorts and hotels were also very happy, especially most of them are close by the beach. And also I had a friend who went to the Backpackers, which is a hostel, and she was also totally happy with it. So all in all, we could say no matter who we met, they were quite satisfied with their accommodations. So I would just suggest to have a look on the reviews online, and if there are not really bad reviews, then just go for it. I think you will definitely find your place you really will enjoy. Again, we stayed at Castaway Resort, and it was for us the right place to be. We actually came across Castaway because it had a really good rating when it came to food, and for my partner, food is really, really important. Therefore, we booked to stay with them, and we also had breakfast included, which was I think continental breakfast where you had some nice fruits, some toast, some cereals, yogurt, and absolutely enough. It was also situated right at the beach, and you can just even sit in the morning and in the evening for your meals right in the sand on the beach near the water. It was just so beautiful. And we also stayed usually every evening to have our dinner there, and we watched the sunset literally every evening. It was so unbelievable beautiful, and you have this really nice ocean in front of you. The sun goes down, good food, sometimes live music, sometimes even a bonfire, which was so nice. And we also had a cocktail which was called the Kahuna Junior. I can really highly recommend it if you like to have a cocktail which doesn't taste too much like alcohol and is really refreshing and fruity. I loved it so much, and it was, after a very long time, the best cocktail I've had in a while. But also a lot of non-alcoholic options on the menu, so it's really something for everyone. And the food was also really delicious, so it was just the full package which made it really great. But the most important thing which we found for the accommodation was that the staff was so nice. They were all so welcoming, and they really made an effort to know your name, to make you feel really welcome and part of the family. Every day we came back from a trip, they would greet us, ask us how our day was, and would just really care, which totally makes a difference. So everyone we've met there from the crew was just exceptional, and we really had a great time and really interesting conversations as well. And especially with the background of having this podcast, I sometimes love having these connections, asking questions about where they're from and how it happened that they start working there. And you really meet super interesting people. We had some from Fiji's, and for them, they also come in contracts to work for a place, then go back. Most of them have their family still in their home country. And I also met a really beautiful person from the Philippines, and I really, really hope for her so much that she will be able to bring her daughters with her as well one day, because she's still having her daughters back in the Philippines, probably with her parents. And her husband are on the Cook Islands to make some money, to build a future for their family. And I really think it's important to know that, yes, you are on a holiday, and yes, these people get paid to take care of you and look after you, but never underestimate what they are going through or what their life story is behind all of that. And just be kind. Yeah, definitely make an effort to maybe even ask what their story is. It's very interesting, it's inspiring, and sometimes so heartwarming. So yeah, in this case, I really hope that they can have their family all together one day. Yeah, otherwise, the activities you can do on Cook Islands are also absolutely great. You can do a lot of snorkeling, obviously lots of water activities, snorkeling, kayaking, stand-up paddling, all these kind of things. And you will see some really beautiful fish. But also, when you are lucky, you might already see like a sea turtle. My partner went out snorkeling for quite a while, and there was one moment where another snorkeler was telling him where he saw a sea turtle just before. So he swam in that direction and still caught up on the turtle and was able to see it without booking any tour. So that was really special for him. And in that moment, I was really keen on seeing it as well. And so I took the snorkeling gear and I snorkeled around, but unfortunately I wasn't able to see the turtle anymore. But nonetheless, it was really, really awesome just to have that warm temperature. The water is really warm. It didn't take me 1 minute to go into the water. It was instant. Usually I'm more of a person who is like slowly getting into the water, putting some cold water on your chest, putting some cold water on your arms, and slowly getting used to it. In that case, the water is so warm that you really just dive right in. So really comfortable. Yeah, so we did 2 tours. One tour was the sea turtle tour with the Ariki experience. And this is a tour where you have an underwater sea scooter. Especially if you're not the strongest swimmer, this helps a lot. But I wouldn't recommend someone who can't swim. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't allow that anyways. But that's really interesting because you go into the water, you have that sea scooter, which has 3 different speeds, and it does make a difference, especially when you go through currents. It can be a strong current, and without that scooter, I wouldn't know if I would be able to even just swim. Probably I would be floating away. And they know where sea turtles are. And the sea turtle tour is pretty much going out and then visit the turtles where they usually rest and relax. The most important thing for them is to respect their natural habitat and to not touch any turtles. Now you would think, well, you can be probably lucky if you even see a turtle, how to even be concerned about touching one. We literally saw more than 15 turtles. It was so beautiful. It's amazing how they are swimming around you, and you really have to be careful to not accidentally bump into them. They are so close to you that you have to stop yourself from swimming to not, touch them accidentally. And I didn't experience that in my life before. Therefore, I wasn't sure how to picture it, what to expect. But it was so awesome to see them swimming between us and go up, have a breath, go down, eat a little bit, and then relax on the reef. And you really should be careful to not disturb them too much. But it's such a beautiful experience. I really highly can recommend it. I sometimes struggle with panic attacks when I'm in the water, and I felt really safe. Also, they have like a safety boat with you. So if you really struggle, if you get a panic attack, or if you feel like you are not safe when it comes to swimming, you can go onto that boat. And they also have at least 2 people coming with you. So it's a guided tour. You are not left on your own. So yeah, that was an absolutely amazing experience. In particular because I think sea turtles are beautiful animals, and it was great to see them in nature without having an aquarium or anything like that. And another tour we did was Captain Tamas. Funny enough, I talked to one of my colleagues before I went, and she mentioned that she went to Rarotonga 10 years ago, and that Captain Tamas already existed then. And we booked that boat trip, and it's pretty much a really cool group of people having a lot of fun, being really good with singing and playing drums, and you go on a boat which has like a window on the ground so that you could see fish from the boat itself. And they sing songs, they play the drums, and they just try to entertain you as much as possible. You can sing with them, and they make funny jokes, and it's just really nice atmosphere. Then you drive with the boat to a spot where you can snorkel, and they sometimes even feed some fish so that you can have them closer. And one highlight was that we saw a really, really big eel, which was a little scary, I have to admit, but also really precious. Yeah, just beautiful. And then you would go back on the boat, drive to another small island, which is relatively close to the main island, and you would have a barbecue there for lunch. They have fresh fruits, fresh tuna, and I have to say I'm not a big seafood fan, but that tuna was just amazing. And the coconut, fresh from the tree, delicious. So can highly recommend doing that. And after that, when you feel like you're full and happy and satisfied, they have like a little show where they present how to open a coconut and give you like all the specific things what you can do with a coconut, with its oil, with its meat, with its water. So a nice overview of the whole coconut. And also the traditional clothes, the sarong they have. They showed us how to wear it for women, like 3 different types of wearing it, like a bikini set or like a nice dress, and also how men can wear it, which was also really entertaining, really funny. These were the main things we have booked, and otherwise we wanted to just relax and calm down and have a little bit of, the calm of a holiday, so we didn't put any stress on us. Also, sometimes they have markets on Sundays, and they also have a party bus. We didn't book it, and we didn't really want to have like a party kind of holiday. But if you're interested in that, they have like a party bus where you can go on, and then it's like a whole night tour. Yeah. Other things are you can have massages, you can have a traditional dance show, and there's also like a buggy tour in mud. Some of my friends have done it, and they really enjoyed it and found it really fun. So probably also a good thing to try out. But yeah, generally, I just wanted to share all of these things with you because afterwards I felt so relaxed and I was so happy. I felt like myself and I had all these great emotions. And I just really wanted to share that with everyone because if it leaves such an amazing feeling behind for me, then there's always a potential that this can happen for you too. So this is my little story about the beautiful Cook Islands, about the beautiful people over there, and about just having a place where you feel welcome and where you can relax, where you can forget all your worries and have a little bit of a good spirit. Thanks, that's all from me today, and thank you so much for listening, and I hope I hear you next time again, and all the best. Bye bye.